translations, okay, where we're just sliding a figure, right? We've done rotations, where it rotates around the origin, correct? Okay, and we've done reflections, where we reflect it over the line of, line of what? Line of reflection. It is not the line of symmetry, it is the line of reflection. Okay? Today, we are doing what is called a glide reflection. Okay? It's not super hard. Okay? What's going to happen is we slide it, so we're going to translate it first, and then we're going to reflect it over a line. So we just have to do two at one time. Okay, same thing. This is just called the composition. Okay, it's called the mastometry. All right, biggest thing is the notation. Okay, now I understand that we've learned that our translations are x. This would be x plus 0, comma y minus 5, right? Okay, so that's what this means. It's just a little bit of a shortened notation when we go into the glide reflection. Okay, this means this. Now, the funky thing about this, okay, is we always do what is closest to the triangle. So this side, we do first. Okay, we do this second. So you kind of have to read it backwards. Okay. So in this case, we're going to translate this. What am I doing with this translation? Down 5. I would translate it down 5, and then I would reflect it over x equals 0, and x equals 0 is the, well, right, but it's also the what axis? Not the x-axis, it's the y-axis. Yep. Okay, so with this, this says to do, oh, that's not exactly what I want to do. Okay, so what do I have to do with this first? First thing I have to do is translate it down 5. So every point is going to go over 0 and down 5. So E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm labeling it E prime. T, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. T prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is X prime. Notice how my two figures look like each other. And another thing from our quiz, if your two figures don't look like each other, you did something wrong. Alright, so then we are reflecting over x equals 0, which is what? The y-axis. So we're reflecting over this line. Okay? So if we look at x and I'm reflecting it over that line, and it's on that line, it just stays there. So when we label our second figure this time, it is x double prime. So it needs two little apostrophes up there. Alright, so t is how far from that line? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is t double prime. And E is how far? How far away from the axis? One way. So it stays one way. E double prime. And there is my new figure. Okay? Always be careful. Do this first. This second. Okay, this is just the same thing. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this at all. Oh. All right, this we do have to talk about how they got from ABC to ABCD double prime. Okay, because we're going to have to write a rule for this. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is figure out what our translation was. Okay, so they translated how far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so my translation, did it go over or up and down? It went over how many? Went over 6, comma, did it go up and down? Well, not necessarily. Okay, so 6, 0 is my translation. Make sure that goes on the right. And then it reflected, so that would put me, ooh, careful. Well, if we moved it over, it's going to look like this, right? Okay. Right? If we moved it over, it went there. Okay, and so now it's 1, 2, 3 away is my new C, 1, 2, 3 away. So we reflected it over what? The x-axis, yep. X-axis. So my rule was that it translated 6, 0, okay, and you got to write it backwards. Okay, the translation goes on this side, and then it reflected over the x-axis. Is that kind of sort of making sense? Huh? No? Okay, so let's look at this. We've got, well, this one just takes some practice. So if we've got, careful. Stuff there. Now, let's do this again. Okay, remember, ABC to A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. It's like a mapping. Okay, so where did this move? Well, careful. You got to go from ABC. What did it do? What do you mean it moved over to? Sorry, I just need it. You're saying it moved up? It didn't. What do you mean it moved down? I think it moved left. Guys, you're going from ABC to A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Okay, but time out. Do I ever flip it first? Oh no. You gotta slide it first. Okay, so where did it slide? It slides up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be where my C is. Okay, did it go over at all? No. No, so 0, 6, because it went up. And then what did it do? It reflected over. pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, some of us are still just rushing through things and not really giving a crap. Okay, whereas some of us